Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mubarak's podcast. This is Hashmat Mubarak, your host. Today, I'm joined by Hamayun Khan, an award-winning author, educator, and social impact leader. He's the founder of SolaTeach, a platform that helps Afghan girls continue their education despite all these challenges. Hamayun holds an MBA and MSc in international business from George Washington University, and he's the author of The Death Warrant, a book that has touched many lives around the world. He's also the recipient of International Impact Book Award and Global Recognition Award 2025. I'm truly honored to have him on Mubarak's podcast. Hawan Khan, welcome to Mubarak's podcast. There, it's truly a honor to have you.
Thank you, Mubarak brother. Thank you very much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here with you and, share a bit about my journey, my life endeavors. I've always believed that, stories, even if they're through books, writing, education, or life itself, connect us.
Of course.
So overall, I'm really happy to be here talking to you about my book, about my work with SolaTeach and what has been inspiring me. So thank you for having me.
It's all your kindness, brother. Once again, we're so happy to have you. But first of all, let me start from here, from your book, The Death Wedding, has inspired, I'm sure, many people, those people who have read it. And it explores pain, loss, and human spirit in a way that feel universal. It will be so interesting for us and for our audience to tell us a little bit more about your book and what inspired you to write The Death Wedding.
Yeah, so the death within the name itself implies, the sufferings that a person goes through within his body, and the suffering that is not visible to the outside world, and which is like something which is being endured or uh, born inside the body. So that's why the name of the book is The Death Within, and it comes from a very personal story, a very personal observation, and also the observations that I've had around me. So when I started this book in 2019, I was in India, an MBA student, and I was staying in a hostel where I uh, saw, unfortunately, two suicide committed by youngsters. They were like around 18 years old. One in 2018, and the other one is in 2000 was in 2019. Those two students were very young, very talented, but the society unfortunately failed them. Their families' expectations actually failed them. So I used to write articles, blogs on the Afghanistan's socioeconomic issues
Mhm.
to Indian and other international outlets. So one of my friends, who is an Indian, and one of those who committed the suicide was the best friend of my friend. So he asked me to like write something about this issue, which is very important. And that's when I started thinking about writing something about this issue, since it's not my field, but
Mhm.
the reason I wrote about this issue is because it doesn't have to be your field. It's like it's related to everybody's life.
Yes, of
So
course.
then I started collecting raw data for an article. First, I was thinking about writing an article, but then, with time, it turned out to be a book. And then I completed the book in 2023. And as I said,
Mhm.
the book came from a very personal place. I wrote it during a time even when I was dealing with loss and emotional pain, and
Yeah.
I was kind of craving a person to listen to me. I was craving a listening ear, a mouth that could speak to me. But when I didn't find that, I was okay. Let me write every feeling down. So writing helped me turn those dark moments into something very meaningful. For example,
Yes.
the book.
I would
So
like
the book
to.
talks about struggle, mental strength, and hope.
Mhm. I would like to highly
Mm.
recommend this book for our audience. to once give it a read. I've read a few chapters of it. It is so inspiring, and as I have mentioned before, it reflects and explores pain, loss, and human spirit. And but coming from your education, you have studied at one of the top university in the world, George Washington University, where you earned, I think, your MBA and MSc in international business. That experience must have opened new perspective and built a strong leadership skill. I'm sure that it did. Undoubtedly, education abroad can uh, deeply influence how a person thinks and acts. Uh, would you mind to tell us that how did your education at the George Washington University shape the way you see leadership and your approach to creating social impact?
Yeah, so George Washington University is located in the heart of Washington, D.C., surrounded by world's international organizations like the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the State Department, and many more. So that's the reason, all the students and all the faculty members there, they're very much qualified, accomplished, and exposed to global issues, not only nationwide issues in the U.S. So that's also a reason because when you are in Washington, George Washington University or Washington D.C. in general, you get all the vibes of being in a city which is kind of, I would say, like all the decisions are made in
Yes,
Washington, D.C. So
a
you get
political
all
city.
these, yes, political city. So you get all these leadership vibes, and you learn a lot, not only the academic books or theories, etc. You learn the life. You get all the instincts of leadership from your surroundings. So my education at George Washington University truly changed how I used to see leadership and now how I see leadership. It really taught me that leadership is not about controlling your subordinates, but it's about compassion and purpose. For example, you need to have a vision, you need to have a purpose to work for. So when you work for achieving that purpose, you build a team who has the same mindset, who shares the same vision and goals. So being surrounded by people from so many different countries, from different diverse backgrounds, really helped me see how global problems and both local problems and need understanding and empathy. So the experience that I gained during my study at George Washington University shaped how I built SolaTeach, with the idea that education can be a tool not just for knowledge but for a lasting hope.
Yes. Uh, of course, after I think your status, you decided to take action and create a real change, and you founded SolaTeach, a platform that provides education for girls who are currently denied access to schools and universities. And that's a very meaningful and a courageous mission. So I would like to say a special thanks to for what you're doing in this platform for our sisters inside Afghanistan. But would you mind to tell us more about your work you're doing in SolaTeach and what inspired you to this to start this initiative? But
Well, what really inspired me is not only just one issue, but there are multiple issues that really inspired me to start SolaTeach. First of all, what happened during the second year of the Taliban's rule and leadership. I think it was late 2022, and they closed the doors of schools for girls from sixth grade and beyond. So that's when I started thinking about, doing something which could really help them, if not in their formal education, but at least something which could retain their academic pursuits. For example, when I started thinking about, building this initiative, I had no one, honestly, because unfortunately nowadays everybody wants materials and
yes, of course.
materialistic benefits out of everything. And this cause were solely for the purpose of helping the Afghan girls back in Afghanistan. So I thought like if I'm in the US, I have access to internet resources, especially educational resources. Why not I do something for those girls who are suffering, who are vulnerable to all these political tumults and political instabilities? They're not they're not guilty, but they're the ones who bear the brunt of these problems. So that's when I started working on SolaTeach, and fortunately, I found a very passionate and very talented girl from Afghanistan at that time. We met on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and we shared the same vision, the same goals, and then we started working on it. And then, created classrooms, which were being taught secretly because we did not want to publicize them,
Mhm.
and we had not, any sponsorships or any, established platform where we could teach. Everything was just voluntarily being done, and everything was just normal. So we kind of promised that we would reach Solati to like touch the high level of success. And that's when Solati started as a small online effort
Mhm.
to teach English to Afghan girls. And when schools were closed, we opened doors for professional development skills. We taught them English learning, English language. We taught them other professional skills. Like you see, when the war has taken many lives of male members,
Mhm.
and then you also close doors for women not to work or not to study. Then how will they survive? So that's when we thought about the solution. Like, okay, if we can teach girls online, they will be at home, but they can still work from home and still support their family, and also still study when even when they are home. So today we have trained around 500 girls, and we created like multiple teaching and voluntary roles,
Wow.
and we have a team of 16 member in total. And we are now in the process of expanding this platform into a digital literacy, math, and professional skills. We have included math because mathematics is the core of everything.
Mhm.
So what I really love the most is seeing students become teachers. Like we have our students becoming teachers
Wow.
that teach to other girls. So that's when a real change has started.
Of
And for
course.
me, like when I see the impact not only of teaching the girls, but also having a team who are eager to work for this cause, that's for me is a real success.
I really appreciate what you're doing, bro. I wholeheartedly appreciate what you're doing for our sisters inside Afghanistan. But working to support education for Afghan girls in such a difficult times, we know it is not an easy mission, especially when access to school, as you have mentioned, to technology and safety are the biggest challenges. But you have been involved in creating awareness and giving hope to uh, so many who still want to learn. I think you have mentioned about 500 girls. Uh, it will be so interesting for us to hear that in your experience, what has been the most powerful way to inspire Afghan girls to keep believing in education and not give up on their dreams.
Like Mubarak's brother, I've always believed that uh, education is important for men, but it's way more important for girls
Without
and
yes.
women. Because if you educate a man, you educate probably the family or himself. But if you educate a woman, you educate the whole generation. So that's how important education is for girls. So to make them believe that they matter and that the education is as significant as they are to the society, that's I think the most powerful way to show them that yeah they really matter, and they have to like I think there is a quote of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a prominent Pashtun leader in
Mhm.
Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, who led the movement of non-violence against the British. He said that a society is like a bicycle, and since a bicycle cannot work without one wheel, there
Mhm.
should be two wheels. Likewise, a society needs both men and women. For example, if not like in other sectors, especially we need them the most in sectors like medical, teaching. And if we put this aside, like even in families, we need educated women, because we need an educated mother, an educated daughter or sister, because an educated mother will never look after or give birth to, for example, a terrorist or
Of course.
an addict, right? So that's how important their roles are, not only in families but outside of their families. So to just keep it simple, we just have to give them the feeling that they matter and they're important to us. So I think that's the most, for me, is the most important way to inspire the Afghan girls to, get educated, work hard, and also in the same time, we as Afghan girls, sorry, boys who are outside of Afghanistan and have access to all these resources, we need to help them in any way possible. So yeah, I would say like we have to make them understand that they still matter. Doesn't have to be like, you know, um, since they have been through a lot of problems like culturally imposed codes or societal status quo, family pressures, and so many things. Those things will go away one day, but we need to make them understand that they don't have to give up. They matter, and if there are issues at the same time, there are people who really help them, who really want them to get educated. So that's what that's like what for me is the most important way.
Hmm. I completely agree with what you have said, brother, that when we educate a girl, actually we are educating a community, we are educating a society, and that is the time that everything starts to flourish. I completely agree. But behind every initiative, there is a personal story. I'm sure a reason that keeps someone going when even things get hard, when even things get tough. I'm curious about the strain and the mindset that helps you personally continue your work. Uh, when you look back at your own journey, what do you think has helped you become the person who you are today? As a someone who graduated from a prestigious university in the world and now giving a hand to his sisters inside Afghanistan.
Yeah, of course, everyone has their own story and their own triggers of motivation and inspirations. So for me, I think there are three things that really helped me become who I am today. Um, and I'm still nascent and at the foundational level, but we are still trying, and we strive to achieve more. But the three things that are really helpful for me, and they are and they will be, first thing is the spirituality, faith, and other thing is like your connection with the divine power. Second thing is family. When you have a family which supports you, not monetarily but also spiritually in the sense, they encourage you, they make sure to give you that kind of emotional support which make you believe in yourself, and also your life struggles, like the struggles and endurances that you have been through your life. They're the best teachers, I would say. So
Mhm.
those three things really make you help I mean make you become who you are, who you want to be. And so personally they have helped me become who I am today, and because they have shaped my mindset. For example, my connection with God is what really feeds my soul, and makes me like to feel and behave like a human being.
Yep.
Sometimes when people achieve things, they forget who they are. So
Mhm.
for me, like becoming a true human being, becoming staying in connection with the God, spirituality. So
Mm-hmm.
being spiritual, and then also your support from your family. Family matters a lot because family is the thing. Once you, unfortunately, like God forbid, lose them, then it's difficult to get
Mm-hmm.
another family. So
Uh,
family matters,
talking
and then failures and
talking
setbacks in life.
talking about your recognition, man. So you have been uh, recognized with multiple global awards for your leadership and your book that you have written. These awards, I think, not only represents your work, but also the message it carries for your people, for our people. And I would like to know that you have been awarded multiple international award like International Impact Book Award and the Global Recognition Award. What message do you think they carry for young changemakers?
Yeah, so first of all, for me, awards are just a reminder that sincerity matters. No matter how many awards or how prestigious awards you get, you still have to be connected to your roots and like the place that you come from, your past, and also they show that even if you start small with hurt, like pure hurt and honesty, your work can still reach people.
Mm-hmm.
And the award serves as a testimony to, like your impact that you have, and your work, um, to show like how significant your work is. But for me, as I just mentioned, it is just a reminder. And for me, like I would also always look for rewards rather than awards. For example, I would always feel happy when I see the impact of my work, which has on in the people of in the lives of other people, and also how I add value to the lives of other people through my work. So that's something which I would really consider as a sign of success. But yes, awards are also a kind of motivation for us. Like when we get awards, we get motivated and we feel like, yeah, I've done something, and that people notice my work. So to young change makers, I would say, not to wait for the right opportunity or the right time. Now is the right time. You see, like if we don't start now, after a year or so, or after a few months, we will think that, I wish I would have started that time. So now is the time, the right time. And then never focus on the result, like never be concerned about how the results will be. Just leave it on God, like because we don't know what's going to happen after a few seconds. So let's be focused on the process. When I was attending the Global Youth Summit a few days ago in South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
I learned one beautiful thing, which was that we need to be in love with the problems, not the solution. That means like we don't have to be concerned with the results, and
Mm-hmm.
just focus on the process. And once we focus on the process and we take action, and we start now, like we don't wait for tomorrow. Like even in the Quran, it's mentioned that when you intend to do something, just start from now and have faith in God.
Yep,
So I would say to the to the young change makers that just start, and maybe we can listen to other people's advices, but at the same time, those advices should not stop you. Maybe we will get negative advices or positive, but there will just be some kind of, you know, um, feedbacks. Like just take them as feedbacks and not something which could define your way. So listen to people, and follow your own path, focus on the process, and then your results will definitely be the results that you desire.
of
So
course,
that's
of
all
course,
I
man.
want to say to the change makers.
Yes, of course, man. It was so powerful, actually, to put our attention on the process, not on the results. Yep. I need to think about this sentence, brother. But sometimes one story can show why our work matters. I'm sure you've probably met or taught students whose lives changed through education. It will be so interesting for us that to hear. Is there any story of a student or a learner from SolaTeach that touched your heart and reminded you why this work is so important?
Well, the work with SolaTeach overall is heart touching, um, and every day when I see the classes that that are being taught to the students, and I see their progress, really touch my heart. Two instances, for example, were really for me were they have been wonderful so far. One is I think last year when I had a class, there was a student from Herat.
You're
She
also
could
teaching.
barely.
You're also teaching. Yep.
Mhm. I used to teach, but now I focus on other things. Now I have a team who teaches, like I think four teachers. So I'm now focusing on other things like the logistics part and the leadership section. So there was a girl from Herat. She could barely knew English at first, and a few months ago, not a few months, but I think a month ago, she emailed me. She was in New York and she emailed me. She could write very nicely in English and she thanked me for helping her learn English. And That was something which I really was touched by. And then also in 2023, when I was completing my grammar class, there were students from Kunduz, Kabul, and I think Badakhshan as well. I don't really remember, but yeah. So when I was completing the class in the last day of the course, they really made me emotional. They were like, don't go, and if like we want you to, take another class. And even a few days ago, I heard that this some of the students were asking the teachers about me, starting a class to them. So those things, they're the
Yes,
biggest
of course.
rewards for me.
Sometimes we miss people. One of our teachers who was
Yeah.
teaching us English, Said Abdul Hamid Oshmi. Now I think he's teaching in Howard Community College. He's teaching English literature. Actually, at the time that he left Afghanistan, we missed him a lot, and I completely understand what you have said, brother. Sometimes
Mhm.
we miss people,
Yes,
we
yes.
miss the moments. But your journey shows that one person can make a difference,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
in the hardest times, no matter how
Mhm.
small or how big it is. I'm sure you
Yeah.
have also dreams for what comes next for yourself and for Afghan girls and for our generation inside and outside Afghanistan. For me, it is so interesting to hear that looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for SolaTeach and your personal mission?
Yeah. Honestly, it's a good question. My vision for SolaTeach is to make it a global model for digital learning, especially in vulnerable and fragile countries like Afghanistan. I don't want to only focus on Afghanistan, but as a human, it's our obligation to help other people who are in need, especially in terms of education. So, my goal is to reach to a global spectrum of students where education is limited, and there is a hope for education. So personally, I would like to bridge a policy and practice, like bridge the gap between policy and practice. So it's not that, in Afghanistan we have been hearing all these discussions and policies, etc., but there is no practical work. So I want to bridge that gap using my background, uh, my like limited knowledge, I would say, and also development of designing programs that really help young people, especially not only girls but also boys, because I've always been asked, like, why don't you focus on boys? And yes, I would like to focus on boys as well. So overall, my mission has been to give to others, especially give it back to my community where I come from, the opportunities that I once wished I had. For example, studying and prestigious and globally known and globally recognized universities. I'm sure this is a wish of many Afghan youngsters. So I would like to like help them in one or the other way possible.
I would like to say once again a special thanks to you, Hamayun Khan. I wish I could hug you, brother, and shake your hand for what you're doing
Inshallah, we will.
and the impact you're making through your efforts. From this platform, I would like to also call on all those who are outside Afghanistan to stand up and take action. It has been, for so long that our sisters have been banned from education and they need our voices and support more than ever. And we truly need more people like you and those who care, who take action, and who bring hope with the small actions. Once again, I wholeheartedly appreciate what you're doing and thank you. And if there is anything I have missed, mic is yours. You can tell to our audience there.
Well, I just would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak and share my experience and share, particularly the work that we have been doing with SolaTeach. Like it's not about where you start, but it's all about where you end and where your journey is going to. So hopefully one day we will have a very peaceful Afghanistan and Afghanistan where anybody could speak, anybody could openly share their views, their ideas,
Hope so.
regardless of their gender.
Hope so.
And yeah, so again, I'm so grateful to you for allowing me to speak. And I also wish you the best. You are also doing an amazing work.
Thank you,
And
brother.
hopefully we meet in person one day, inshallah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.